So in this video, we're talking about making XLR cables, when you're going to want to make them, why you should know how to make them, and you don't always have to go out and buy. It happens all the time, right? In my case, I needed special lengths that I didn't have. So more importantly, cables are a reasonable price. Even if you buy high-end cables, you're still getting them for a reasonable price. And you're going, well, why am I going to go through all the work when I can just get a cable? If you already have a 50-foot cable and something happened on the job and it got damaged, well, you can simply repair that cable yourself. Maybe you're going to take a 50-foot cable and turn it into a 10-foot cable and a 40-foot cable, but you can still have a 50-foot cable if you want by just connecting them together. If you have connectors, you can make that all happen for yourself. And this way you're going to have product for a lot longer and you're going to be able to fix things for a reasonable price. Because if you keep going out and spending $50 because you damaged a 50-foot cable, well, those are going to add up. Or you can spend $5 on a connector and fix the problem yourself. So let's cover all that in this video. Let's get started. My name is Robin, this is Expert Island, and we're making XLR cables. So to get started here, first thing I got to do is actually make something so this way I can actually work on the cables, the connectors at the same time. So what I've done is I've got one of my little tool packs that holds all my drill bits, that sort of stuff in it, and it's very heavy. And I'm basically using that. I'm going to solder down, well, not solder, I'm going to glue down two of the actual connectors here with some hot glue. There you go. And these are connectors I'm going to probably use later on, but that's okay. They're just hot glued down, nothing I can't peel off when I need to use them. And it gives me good weight, ready to go. So here we are, good connectors. They don't always have to be Nutrix, and I know a lot of people, it's like, oh, that's the brand, and I do have a lot of those, but these are from Blast King. They are very high quality connectors. They've worked out really well for me in the past, and we've gone through a lot of them for customers. So they are a great product. They work really well. They have a good solid connection. They don't move around and they don't cause any static. They're not loose in the play, so no worries there. Now the cable, in my case, that's from another one of my suppliers, and that happens to be a Digiflex Pro cable. It's generic cable, but it's good quality. It's certified. It's got all the proper paperwork for it, so that's a good thing. What I'm doing right now is I'm basically putting actual solder, which is they call it tinning, onto the actual cable and now onto the connectors. Now you see how easy it is to have the connector when it's placed on the actual table. It gives you like a rig to set up. You can have that standing up or laying down, whatever works for you. I'll actually end up moving it around a bit. I'm just trying to keep it steady here in front of the camera so this way you can see what's going on. And occasionally you're going to have a wire that's not being your friend, and that's why I actually took out the pliers, just to hold everything in place. So there you go. So this is, I call it a compression fitting that goes on the inside. Remember, those things line up specifically in a certain way on a lot of them, so you do want to orientate that. The back actual cover, I do like to get it started. Then I'm going to line up the actual full casing on top of it. And then this is it. Tighten it up and you're done. That is the male connector. That's the one with the pins. It's done. It's ready to go. So here we're going to do the female end. Everything's exactly the same. Basically strip back the wires. Notice I don't just strip a little bit of the wires. I strip it back at least 2 inches. It makes it easy to get everything set and ready to go. Also remember, the actual pin placement is opposite on the second cable that you're going to do on the connection on, because it has to be a mirror image of the original one, so when they go head to head, they line up perfectly. So I always have an image of the actual connector open on my computers. This way I have a reference point, something to remind me I'm going to do a mirror image. So when I have them set up on the table, the two inner connections are going to be basically my neutral connections. Those are the bare wire connections that you see. Then everything else falls into place. Very important, or else it won't work. Now I'm going to follow it all the way through here, but it's straight, simple. Remember, have an image. It does have to be a mirror image of what the first connector was, and if they're set up side by side in front of you, it's a lot easier to work that way. This way you know how it's supposed to look, and it follows through no problem. So there you go. Now I've tinned everything up. I'm going to make those solder connections on the second cable. I'm never really in a rush to get this job done, because I'm always trying to find better ways to do it a little bit better. So occasionally I'll try something new or try something different, and that's okay. That's the whole idea with this. Now here everything's all put together, so the female connector's done, the male connector's done. Just checking to make sure everything lines up, the pins are working properly, everything's good and secure. We can even lock them together just to make sure it works out really well. I always like these connectors. When you're done, there's a lot of satisfaction because it looks very professional, looks very nice, and it's something you've done. You made this connector. And again, this is a great way to save money if you damage something you already have, or if you need to make something custom. And if outside of that, if you're in a place where you don't get access to all the selection of cables and lengths, this is a good way to go. Now here in this particular bit, I want to show you basically a different way that I like to do this if you want to hook up an actual grounding wire. So it's not just a neutral, positive, and negative. This is actually taking the actual neutral wire, splitting it in two, and soldering it so this way it's grounded on the outside. So if your hands touch it or anything like that, you've got a proper grounding connection. Now that means taking the neutral wire and splitting it in two like I did here, and that's okay. It's the same wire. It's one wire that runs all the way through, and what's going to happen is one wire is going to get fed to the outside. Now this wire is also getting set up so this way it's basically, if someone's going to swing the microphone by holding the cable like it was a rope in the air, some crazy move with the microphone, pulling on the cable, this is a great way to lock that cable so you're not going to damage the cable. It's not going to stretch out, and it's not going to pull itself apart. Now heat shrink is going to slide over the whole thing, so we're going to put that right over everything. So that actual cotton string that's inside of it is there to make sure that the cable doesn't stretch out and pull apart. So if I actually use the heat shrink to secure all of that, to basically fold it down and fold it back, now that when I heat it, it can't pull apart. And that's the important part. That's what makes this so strong. And now I'll be able to solder everything together. It'll be perfect. So here's my new XLR line tester. I actually made this, and there's a separate video just for this, guys. It was pretty easy but smart to have one of these. This is going to allow me to actually check and make sure that my XLR cable is set up properly. This way, with pin 1, 2, and 3 are all in the right place, and there's no shorts or any actual cross bleeding of the signal. So there you go. All we're doing is looking at the first 3 channels. So again, 1, 2, 3. That's all we need out of the entire setup, and it is. It's perfect. It's laid out really nice. Now I'm going to go actually test it on a microphone just to make really sure that I feel good about it. And here we are, of all days to wear a black shirt, trying to show you some black cables. These are the ones we made. They're like 3.5 feet long, 40 inches about. And again, I made them so this way I can plug a controller into a mixer, which we're going to be literally stacked one on top of each other. So I did not need these cables to be long, but we do want to try them out. We've done a line test. Everything was good. Here we go. We're going to be plugging them in. What we're going to do here is we're going to plug it into 1 and 2. So remember, it's always a good time to like, comment, and subscribe. Leave a comment down below if you like the video, or if you've made some cables and you want to share, let me know down below. Now, again, I've got my Shure mic. This is on its own cable, plugged into one of my new cables. Ooh, new cable. And that's on channel 2. So we'll just turn up channel 2 here, and we'll see what it sounds like. There we go. Channel 2's up. Everything's up. Everything's good and going. Look at that. So there we go. That's our channel 2. Everything's up and running there. No problems. It's working just fine. I don't hear any additional sound coming from the cable, especially when we move it around. That's important. And we're good to go. Let's try out the other cable. And here's the second cable. Ooh, just as good as the first cable. Again, I'm bending it and moving it around, making sure it all sounds good and works proper. So remember, that's all there is to it. So there you go. The important thing is to take your time, do it right, feel comfortable that you did a nice job. Remember, great for doing custom works. If you need to have different ends on it, that sort of thing, come up with your own creation. So let me know in the comments if you've made your own custom cables and how that's come along. Remember, if you want to see any type of videos, let me know in the comments. If you've got questions, that's what it's there for. Well, I hope this video helped you out a bit when it comes to making your own XLR cables and deciding if maybe that's the right thing for you to do. Again, you can do this with anything. This could have been 1/4-inch cables, balanced or unbalanced. It's all kinds of creations. If there's a particular type of cable you'd like to know about, leave it down in the comments below. Maybe we'll be able to get to it in the next video. I'd like to say thanks for watching. See you in the next video. Bye for now.